Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of our Rise of the Moors series and our second episode in the Sky Bet League 2. So as you saw in the last episode, we had a really decent win over Hartlepool at home, and we actually carried that form into the rest of the opening month of the league. So as you can see there, we've played Swindon and Swansea in the opening couple of rounds of the Capital One Cup, and we've turned into a bit of a giant killing team. Fantastic performance over both those teams, but that Swansea victory is probably our best victory of this entire save. And we've also picked up 2 further wins and a draw in the league. So let's have a look at the highlights of those games now. So we started with a really good win over Swindon. It was a fantastic cup tie, pretty even between the teams. We did manage to play our possession-based game against them though, and that restricted Swindon to only 10 shots but 4 on target, and I think realistically it was our better efficiency in front of goal that led to the victory in this game, and it was Matthew Willock picking up 2 goals, the final one coming from a decent free kick in the 88th minute to seal victory for us. And because of those goals in the midfield, he picked up man of the match. And then we followed that game with an away trip to Mansfield, and Mansfield aren't one of the best teams in the league, so I was a bit disappointed not to pick up more points out of this game, but it was a very even and a very competitive fixture here. Not much between the teams at all, and it finished 1-1. The goal coming from Geraldo Martin for us. And then came the Wrexham game. Now, obviously Wrexham got promoted with us last season, so this was going to be a really good game that we can test ourselves against Wrexham, see how much we've improved. I found Wrexham a very difficult team to play last season, but it was a 4-goal haul from Rowan Liebert in this game, and a first half hat-trick, so 3 goals within 32 minutes from him. We were 4-0 up before Wrexham clawed one back, and a further own goal put us 5-1 ahead. And actually, again, not too much between the teams. Only the 6 on target for us, so we had opportunities to score more goals in this game. So a fantastic demolition of Wrexham here, and it was Rowan Liebert with 4 goals, so a 9.8 rating for him. But very good performances across the midfield for the Moors as well. And we followed that demolition job of Wrexham with an away trip to Gateshead where we picked up another 3 points, coming out 3-1 winners in this game. And as you can see, we absolutely dominated this game, and realistically, we should have scored so many more goals. We finally put the tie to bed with Geraldo Martin, and then finally a penalty in the 83rd minute. That secured the 3-1 win, but 23 shots and 13 on target. We really restricted Gateshead to only a few chances, and it was actually their striker who was causing us a bit of trouble going forward. He picked up one of the goals, he picked up the equaliser of Gateshead, but a fantastic performance, a very confident performance as well from the Moors here. And like I said, realistically, we should have scored a lot more. And because of the victory over Swindon in the Capital One Cup, we had a very good tie here at home to Swansea, so I was hoping for a decent attendance, lots of spectators to come watch the Premiership team coming to play here. And Swansea really disappointed. They didn't get going at all really, and they couldn't really play the game they wanted to play. And we were fantastic. We defended solidly, and for what chances we did have, which mainly came towards the end of the first half and into the second half, some good openings for ourselves, and it was 2 goals from Carl McFarlane that settled the tie for us. A fantastic performance from him, and that got him man of the match. So a wonderful victory over a Premier League team. So a really good giant killing performance from the Moors here. So our cup success continues. Our affinity for the domestic competitions has been fantastic the last couple of years anyway, but a wonderful victory over Swansea in the Capital One Cup. So we're now drawn Cardiff at home, so Cardiff a championship team. A really good draw again because one of the lesser teams left in the competition, many Premiership teams are left in the game that we avoided, and another home tie, so I'm hoping we could replicate that Swansea performance and get something out of that tie again. Because of those extra 2 victories and the draw we picked up since the last episode, we're actually top of the table, only on goal difference, and there's a cluster of teams around us, all the big teams are up there, so a decent opening month for the Moors. We've picked up some good amount of points, and we've had some brilliant performances in the cup competitions. And in today's episode, we're hosting Exeter, so they're 13th at the moment and probably expecting to end up being a mid-table team as well. So we really need to be looking at fixtures like this, and hopefully that we can carry on our impressive start to the season and pick up another victory here. And a couple of other things that have occurred since the last episode. We've lost Sam Bone and Zvetan Filipov both to injury. Pretty serious injury for Filipov. He's out with a hernia. He's going to be out for a couple of months. Sam Bone has probably got another month to go. So that's left us really short in the midfield, unfortunately. So our midfield trio are going to be quite stretched. So I'm hoping to bring in another midfielder, possibly on loan, who can come in and play central midfield for us. But a couple of other acquisitions for the Moors this season. We've brought in another loanee and a young winger on a free transfer. So Ben Purrington, he's come from Plymouth. He's joined us on a loan deal for the rest of the year. He's a bit of a utility man. He can play in many places, including the centre of the park, which is of use for us at the moment. But he looks like a quality left back. Good in the tackle, his physical stats are pretty decent, and his teamwork and work rate are both pretty impressive as well, which is what we need for players playing in that sort of full-back position, that especially utilising the overlap. We had the opportunity to sign another quality young left-back, but I thought we'd bring Purrington in this season because we're only paying 10% towards his wage contribution, so he was a lot cheaper option for us rather than paying out £1,500 per week on possibly a good quality left back, but realistically we couldn't really justify that amount of expenditure at the moment. And the other player we brought in is a 21-year-old Guinea-Bissauan, George Intima. He looks quality, he's got so much potential left in him. His physical stats are there already, and he's got a couple of technical areas which are okay, including his dribbling skills realistically. He's a right winger, he can play up top. His potential leads him to being a pretty decent winger in the future, so he's young, he's got a few caps already for his international team, so a bit of experience as well. So I'm hoping for a lot of development out of him, and the coaches are really rating him, especially because of his potential. So I think he's probably going to be one of the first young players, although he's not a new gen, he's going to be one of the first young players who might be with us for the next few years. So into today's game at home to Exeter. Exeter are a decent team, they've got a good few players in their ranks as well, so this isn't going to be straightforward. I'm not expecting an easy game, but then again, I'm not expecting any of the games this season to be easy. So they're on the back of a win as well, but their form has been pretty inconsistent to the start of the season. 2 wins and 2 draws in the league so far, so we are the form team and we are backed as favourites because of the home tie as well. So this is the team we're setting out with. McFarlane up top. He's been pretty impressive in his opening few games for the club as well. He's just edged out Rowan Liebert for a starting position today. He'll be supported by Billy Waters and Geraldo Martin playing the inside forward role. It's a bit of a makeshift central midfield, so Cooper and Matthew Willock also going to be playing with our utility man Ben Purrington. He's on the defensive midfield defend duty. And then our back four of Tyler Reid, Darnell Johnson, Dion Conroy, Ben Glasgow and Joel Coleman was starting in goal today. So we're just edged as favourites for this game, but we need to be on form if we're going to get anything. We need to play well to get something out of Exeter, and I'm hoping our early season form can continue into this fixture. So they're playing a wing-back formation of 5-2-3 essentially, with an attacking midfielder. So we're going to start with the trio in midfield, but we may need to drop someone back into that defensive midfield duty if we start to get overrun. And because of that, we're going to make sure that we're closing down their wing backs. They're going to be their outlet today, so we need to make sure we're doing something about them. Closing down the midfield trio and keeping tight to their front two. They've got a lot going forward, that formation, so we need to make sure we're on it, especially our makeshift central midfield trio need to be having a good game today. I'm hoping our attacking midfielders, our wingers, can pin back their wing backs and cause them more trouble going forward. So we've told them to pick up where they left off, following from that famous victory over Swansea. I'm hoping we can have a good outing here and get something out of this one. So it's Exeter to start the game at Agborough, our home ground for the next few months. It's early possession for Exeter, making their way forward. So missed tackle there, Ribeiro, oh he's good, he's offside. He was in early on. Lots of possession for Exeter early days, but we've found the ball out to Waters now in our first real attack of the game. Oh, it's a poor, and he's lost the ball to Emerson Boyce. Plays it into Glendon. Honeyman finds Boyce again. Their fullback Tilson plays a long ball forward and Sellers is through on goal. Solihull Moors get back, surrounded their midfielders. Honeyman at the edge plays little in and he's put it wide. I thought he passed it into the net. That was a good chance for them. They should have scored there, Exeter. Here's Purrington playing in central midfield for us today. He's got decent technical stats about him, so I think he should do well in the central midfield. It's just not a frequently played position for him, and Cooper's lost the ball and it's Sellers again. Honeyman plays a good ball forward to Little this time. It's a good save and Cooper gets a tackle and he's gone for a corner. He needs to give them a bit of encouragement now because this is not a good opening few moments from us. Our pass completion rate is 81%, but what we've seen so far doesn't look good at ball retention, unfortunately. So a corner to Exeter. Honeyman delivers, doesn't beat Geraldo at the far post, but he might get, no, he's gone out for a throw in. He could have had the second opportunity at that one. No real chances for the Moors yet, about 18 minutes into the game. 2 clear-cut chances for Exeter not taken. Reid with the throw-in finds Willock, but he's thrown the ball away, and that's an easy clearance for Coleman to deliver. And he plays it out to Reed, up to Geraldo, and we've lost the ball again, but Johnson cuts that one out. Willock now. Billy Waters on the right wing. Can he do a bit better job against Emerson Boyce this time? He finds the ball in, and it's found the back of the net. McFarlane gets down. 4th goal of the season for him already. Our first opportunity going forward. As a decent cross into the danger area, and the goalkeeper's had an absolute nightmare. And McFarlane beat Ribeiro to the ball, and we're 1-0 up at home. It'll drop us down to counter for the time being, so I'm not really happy with what I'm seeing from the Moors so far. We are just edging possession though, which is a good sign. Ben Glasgow with a throw in into the box to find Waters, only just keeps it in, finds Geraldo. He got highest, 2-0 to the Moors. Waters only just keeps the ball in, he crosses from deep, Geraldo at the back post. The goalkeeper has had a nightmare again. Callum Geraldo, what a signing, what an acquisition he has been so far. Here comes Exeter, can they get anything back before half time? Little slots in Honeyman, oh it's a good save. Sellers, oh he's taking it out, that's poor. I'm going to make a quick adjustment to the tactics here. I'm dropping Purrington back into defensive midfield role. They're having a lot of success around that area, the gap between our midfield and our defensive lines. So I'm going to sort of shore that up a little bit. So just before half time, 2-0 to the Moors, and we just seem to be dominating possession now. Good opening few moments from us, so I tell them to keep going. So the Moors to start the second half. Goals from Callum Geraldo, Martin and McFarlane in the first half put us 2-0 up. It's going to be a throw into the Moors here. It's a free kick they're showing. Finds Johnson at the front post, but that's cleared. Emerson Boyce on the ball. Clears it to Honeyman. And Exeter are working their way forward, but it's a good block in the first instance from Reed. And a good interception as well. And he's played McFarlane in first time. McFarlane beats his man. Oh, it's wide. Good opportunity there. Got behind his man. He should have put that ball on target. So pretty even chances between the two teams. Exeter do look dangerous every time they go forward. About half an hour to go. They've started making some substitutions. So I'm just going to have a look what opportunities, what options we do have. There's no one really I can bring on into central midfield. The only person I can put in a central role is Billy Waters, our right winger. He's having a good game, but in fairness, so is Willock and Charlie Cooper. Or rather, let's bring off Ben Purrington. So we're going to drop Charlie Cooper into that defensive midfield role. Purrington's going to swap out of Billy Waters, and there you can see he's not a good position for him. I'm going to drop him to central midfield on support as well. So not a very accomplished position for him. I'm going to bring Purrington off, and actually we're going to bring Intima on, our youngster. We'll leave it at that for the moment. We've got Rowan Liebert waiting. He looks anxious to get on the field as well. About half an hour to go here. We're 2-0 up to the good. 15 minutes to go, and it's a throw into Exeter. Willock, good interception, but it's collected by Exeter again, and Ribeiro, long ball forward. Coleman only just manages to keep that one out. And I think it's time for Rowan Liebert now. So we'll bring Rowan Liebert up top. And Donald Johnson and both Tyler Reed and Johnson look pretty tired, so we're going to bring Scott Tankott on for a run out as well. So all the substitutions are made. 2-0 up now. Coleman, long ball forward. And we weren't good enough to either the first or second ball there. It's Nugent coming down the left wing. He finds Walters. Rides a couple of tackles. Nugent with a long ball in. Johnson gets up high. It's a good defensive clearance from him. But it's found out to Ribeiro. Ball in. Sellers. Oh, they've got a goal back. It's 2-1 now. They make the last few moments pretty interesting, I think. Sorry, I skipped that one. So, kick off then. 2-1 up now. Can we... I'm just going to give them a little bit of encouragement as well. Get them to concentrate. I'm going to stick on the counter. I'm not going to do anything silly just yet. I won't go defensive just yet. It's a bit early for that, I think. Geraldo Martin working away forward, and he's lost the ball, but he's won it back. Good physique from Martin. Slots in Rowan Liebert. Plays it out to Reed for a bit of width. Finds Geraldo Martins at the front. Good tackle. Reed again. Can he find anybody the second time? Liebert at the front post. 3-1 to the Moors. Can't stop Liebert scoring at the moment. Really good form from both of our strikers at the moment. I'm very impressed with them. Good ball in. Liebert at the front post. 3-1 to the Moors. That should be enough for us to get the victory, I think. Liebert working his way forward again. Martin spreads it wide to the right to Glasgow this time. Willock slots in and Tima 4-1. First goal for the Moors from the youngster. The young winger has got a goal. Good ball forward from Willock. It looked like it was Mason who's going to cut that one out. The goalkeeper slow off his line again. And Tima passes it into the back of the net. And it's time for us to go defensive. 4-1 with about 5 minutes to go. And this should be the last highlight. Glasgow with a throw-in. Finds it to Intima. Willock into Waters. No real pressure on the Solihull Moors midfield. And it comes late. Waters plays out to Nugent. Exeter working their way forward. Out wide to Ribeiro. Passing it across the back four. And it should be time up. And there you go. Full time. 4-1 to the Moors. We look like we're scoring pretty freely in a few games this year, so that's really encouraging. So goals for Geraldo Martin, Rowan Liebert and Intima got goals off the bench, and Carl McFarlane as well before he came off. Assists for Tyler Reed and Billy Waters, and player of the match with Billy Waters for a really impressive midfield run out there. So a good win for us, 7 key passes for Billy Waters, so a really good outing for him. And other teams have dropped points around us, so we're 2 points clear of a cluster of teams on 11, including Northampton, who we have to play next in the Johnston's Paint Trophy. So another good victory for us, that's 4 on the bounce now in all competitions. And next time out, we've got a really tricky home tie against Northampton in the Johnston's Paint Trophy. So another domestic cup that I'm hoping we can continue to prosper in. So we've got a few interesting games between now and the next episode, including that Northampton tie. We have to travel to Southend and Accrington, but a few home ties, including a home visit from Plymouth and AFC Wimbledon. So I'm hoping we can pick up some points in those games. We've also got to host Cardiff in the Capital One Cup, so if we can replicate that famous victory over Swansea in that game, then we'll hopefully have a plum tie against one of the bigger Premiership teams. But in the next episode, we'll be returning for the away trip to Port Vale. So Port Vale, one of the favourites, one of the bigger teams in the league. They should be there or thereabouts at the end of the season, so that's going to be a really tricky away tie for us. So thanks for watching again, guys. What a fantastic victory over Exeter in this game. It looked like Exeter were going to get something out of that game. Every time they went forward in the opening periods, they were looking dangerous, but goals from our substitutes finally settled it, and a really good 4-1 victory in that tie. So only the 1 clean sheet so far this season, and that's come in the opening game at home to Hartlepool. But we seem to be scoring quite a few goals, and we seem to be able to score against some of the bigger teams as well, especially in those cup competitions against teams in higher divisions than us. In the next episode, we'll go through the early statistics for the league, and we'll see if the tactics seem to be working at this level of league football as well. But until then, have a good one, and I'll see you then. Cheers.